Hello and welcome to Patcast, Season 1, Episode 1. I am Patrick Brooks, a.k.a. P. Brooks, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Patty P, a.k.a. P. Ditz, a.k.a. The Nightmare. And we're coming to you live today from Brooklyn, New York. It is Sunday, I believe it's October 11th today. Actually, that's way off. Let's see. It's October 9th. And we are just settling in here to the podcast. This is a real rough cut coming to you via my iPhone. And I'm just going to do a little intro here. I am Patrick. I've got thoughts and musings that I thought I would share in a podcast. Part of this has come on because my friends near and far are fully into their parenthood. And I have no audience anymore for my shenanigans and antics. So you, my listener, or perhaps just my iPhone, are going to be my audience. What else? I'm 42, originally from Minnesota, from Duluth, Minnesota. And I'm a teacher. I teach at a Montessori school, a class of 4th through 6th graders. I am home today in a sort of quarantine because I, through my capacity as a teacher, experienced the occupational hazard of contracting a cold. They call it the back-to-school cold. This one was a doozy. It started on Tuesday night. We had the day off on Wednesday for Yom Kippur. And I took a sick day that day. I was just sort of home in bed, kind of recuperating. I felt better by the evening, and I went into class and taught on Thursday. Kind of felt sick Thursday night again, but went back on Friday and felt pretty good and sick by the end of the day Friday. And I even developed pink eye, which is gross, and something I don't think I've ever had. It involves mucus, the color of the mucus that comes out of your nose coming out of your eye, which is really disgusting and kind of horrifying as it started at the very end of the day, and I didn't know what was happening. In any case, this is Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, and I'm going to just call this Indigenous Peoples Weekend. I'm not a big political guy, but if you read a little bit about Columbus, he was not a nice guy. In any case, I am off tomorrow, so this is a 3-day weekend, which is kind of good because I don't feel too much concern about being sick. I'm hoping I'll be better by Tuesday morning. The cold is kind of minor now. It's just a little bit of stuffed nose and whatever, but the pink eye is is really gross and weird. Went from my right eye to my left eye. My eyes are still red. The mucus, you'll be glad to know, listener, is greatly reduced. I really only see it in the morning. But my eyes have been a little bit itchier the last couple of days, and it's just a weird thing. Like, you don't want... I've kind of always felt like you shouldn't go anywhere when you have pink eye. It's so contagious, is my general understanding. No, nobody's told me I got to quarantine, but I just don't want to be out anywhere. I'm currently missing my father-in-law's 80th birthday. There's no way I would go to a restaurant looking like this or being in this condition. But hopefully they have a good time. And so, yeah, kind of feeling sorry for myself. What can I say? It's day 2 of being trapped indoors. It's beautiful weather here in New York. It is sunny. And it is, come on, iPhone. Let's see what the temperature is. It is 62 degrees. Beautiful fall day. Normally I'd be playing roller hockey. As is my wont on Saturdays and Sundays. I play in Manhattan usually. In any case, I'm watching football now. Tom Brady is on, leading his Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Atlanta Falcons at the moment, 20-0. And I don't watch a lot of football because I'm normally playing hockey, as I mentioned, but I've been tuning in a little bit. I'm kind of into sports right now after kind of no sports most of the summer, although I did catch a little baseball. Yeah, I like sports. I grew up a big athlete and big sports fan. That was my favorite thing to do. But I kind of had an interest in stories, reading. I had my favorites. I liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a whole bunch. And I loved the Chronicles of Narnia, especially The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. When I was in the 4th grade, I was in a class with a wonderful teacher named Mrs. Villette, and she read those books to us out loud, and I looked forward to that greatly every time we got the chance to do it. We would just, I don't know, I guess it was 20 minutes or so, or I think, some time in the afternoon probably, and everyone was quiet, and we would read. And it was just like, I don't know, both of them were this magical lands that you were transported to. One was, England, or I think that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is set in England, and but this boy, it's sort of like fantasy because this boy goes to this magical, like I said, it is fantasy, this magical chocolate factory. By the way, if I get stuff wrong, don't at me, bro, as my brother would say. I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but I don't want to double check everything. It's so annoying. Just go with the flow, hey guys. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fantasy. That should qualify. I loved it though. Oh my God, the descriptions of the chocolate factory. Who didn't love it, right? The idea you can just walk in and eat the flowers and the chocolate river, and what a story, what a movie. I know that's nothing original, but I loved it. And so that kind of stuff, when I got older, I kind of got more into the humanities, I guess you'd say, and the arts. I was a philosophy major. And, whoa, I almost dropped my phone. Right next to my cat here, Gunther. And I studied a little bit of art history, sang in the choir in college. I did some voice lessons, and most of my friends were either music majors or theater majors or art majors. So it was cool. It was a big change for me because most of my friends in high school and before then were mainly athletes. But I did sing in the choir when I was younger, and I like to think I had friends in the different groups. So studying philosophy, but brought me to New York. I started in this graduate program at the New School, but quickly left when I realized graduate level work in that field was not for me. And then I started working on digital teams, mainly in media, magazines, and a little bit of television. And then I went back to school 2017, and then I started working as a teacher, and I just wrapped up my master's degree this past summer. So that's me. That's the intro. This is episode 1. It kind of sounds like something I tell people at a cocktail party or something, which I have not been to in forever, which gets me back to the raison d'etre of the podcast again. Don't at me, bro, on that pronunciation. I know. My wife is a fluent French speaker, and she works for the government of France, and she probably would slap me with that pronunciation, but she's a French snob that way, so I don't worry about it. Anyway, the raison d'etre for this podcast is... yeah, everybody's busy doing stuff, and so I'm gonna entertain myself. Anywho, I kind of lost my train of thought there with I hope people find this as amusing as I do. With the sidebars. I do have, I think they call them hit sheets in the production world. I work with a wonderful teacher who writes his own musicals, and really unbelievably good ones. He's a music and a computer teacher at my school. We put on plays every year, and we did do this thing called Songfest that coincides with our graduation and moving up. And we had to kind of put on a show, over Zoom the last couple of years. And so, there was like moments where I had to press play on a video or share a screen or whatever. And so we had to come up with this list. And I think he called them hit list or production list or something like that, a production schedule. I don't know. I never got past. I did one play in elementary school and one in college. So that's the extent. I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none, which kind of I think is a good fit for an elementary school teacher. Anywho, so let me go back to the list of things I have to talk about. That's the intro. Oh, yeah, so I don't know if I want to talk about this. I'll give it a brief whirl. You guys can decide for yourselves if you think it's podcast worthy. Talking about adding me. So I went to this art exhibition in Manhattan. I had some time off for the Jewish holidays this was Rosh Hashanah, so I think it was last week. Had a couple of days off where I wasn't secreting mucus from my eyes and nose at the same time. And I took a trip I did a little art crawl. One day I went to the Whitney and saw the Biennale. I hope it's I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically a biannual review of what the museum thinks is sort of indicative of art trends in the United States. And then I went that was cool. I mean, really political and a lot of like themes of panic or alienation, because a lot of this work came out of the COVID era. And so I guess it's to be expected. Kind of hard to go through. I had to get into the permanent collection and kind of take a breather, because it was, the permanent collection was kind of more varied emotionally. But it was cool. I was glad. It's the first time I've been to the Whitney. I've lived in the New York area since 2005, so it was cool to finally go. But then the next day I went to the National Arts Club, which is quite the place. It is in Manhattan. It's near a place called I'm totally blanking right now. It's near this park that is the only exclusive park in all of New York City. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on it. I'm going to look it up right now since this is bothering me. I'm trying not to care about making mistakes because I'm generally fuzzy, especially when I'm not working. But this one I want to know because it's going to bug me. Where are you? It's in Manhattan and Gramercy Park. Yeah. So Gramercy Park the National Arts Club is just on the south side of Gramercy Park. Gramercy Park's really interesting. And like I said, it's the only private park in, I think, all of New York City, but in Manhattan, I think for sure. You need a key to get in, and only residents that live basically on the streets that front the park have keys. So you walk around this thing. It's got this ornate wrought iron fence. It's beautiful. It looks beautiful inside, and you can't go in. I mean, it seems so, anti-democratic, sort of anti-American. I mean, in some ways, I kind of like it because I bet it's absolutely immaculate and super peaceful, and the foliage and I'm sure there's maybe a perfumed smell, and I bet it's beautiful. There's many other parks that are kind of overrun in New York City, but I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. In any case, I've gone by this National Arts Club building a number of times, and it just looks like sort of the apex of money and culture, old money and old culture in New York City. It's this ornate building. I don't know how you would describe the architecture. I'm going to take a stab and say Beaux Arts. If that's, you guys can look it up at home. Columns and woodwork, and they have all these beautiful furnishings and sculpture, and it just looks, it's plush furniture, and it's kind of dimly lit. It's got this really clubby, kind of exclusive, old world, old money feel to it. And you have to be a member to use most of the rooms. I thought you had to be a member even to walk into the front door, but apparently you can. Apparently they have exhibitions from time to time, and this one I read about from Steve Martin, and it was free, so I went. And it's he did, I think it was 6 pieces. They were all large-scale paintings from his collection of Aboriginal art from the Western Desert region of Australia. And it was cool. I mean, it struck me as the kind of thing that, sort of knowing, sort of sophisticated people like to get excited about, because it's, outside of the mainstream of the art world. And, but it's also like, it is cool, and you can kind of get too in your head about what, you're supposed to like and not supposed to like. So I just went, I wanted to see it. And it was like very energetic, and they're huge scale pieces, and it's the paintings that had only been done, from what I understand, on like in sand and maybe on rocks in Australia by these Aboriginal people. And it was they only started putting them down on canvas, I think, in the 1970s, and so it was cool to see. There's a lot of like reference to, it was all sort of abstract expression-y. But apparently there were it referenced some of the landscape that they live in, some of the, particular landforms and water forms and stuff. And just, there was a lot of movement and energy and with it. And, I try not to, I don't want to sound like, I feel like I sound like such a kind of first world person or whatever, like getting excited about the Aborigines, the indigenous people's energy, which I find kind of annoying. But it was, it was cool. It was, there's a lot of kind of rhythm to it and energy. And so I sat, I had the whole place to myself, which was cool. Being inside the National Arts Club was, fun just in and of itself. I used to talk to my buddy about how it feels sometimes like I'm on a cultural safari when I'm in New York, because I'm from northern Minnesota, and there's nothing quite like, the National Arts Club or Gramercy Park or a million different other things, and all these different little communities in New York. And so slipping in there felt like I was kind of going on a cultural safari, and it was fun to see. And anyway, so through the wonders of the internet, they must have seen that I looked this article up on Time Out, and then Facebook serves me an article from Arts, I think it was ArtsNet, and about this piece. And some people had commented about what they thought and stuff, and I said, I kind of noticed some of the people who were commenting were looking at the pictures on this article's website, on the website, and I said, I actually had a chance to go in person. I don't know, humble brag, right there, and sort of not humble brag. It's just, I guess, that's more of a subtle brag, because I don't think I was trying to be humble on top of it. Anyway, so I said I saw it's pieces were brim with energy, and then I wrote, I hope I'd like to see more of this quote unquote outsider art in New York City. A few days later, I get a little notification. Some woman had chimed in to say, "Oh, Patrick, I don't think this is the proper term of outsider art. This isn't unschooled art. This is ancient art. And she went on kind of that way. And I looked it up and I was like, yeah, I mean, the definition of outsider art is sort of not contact with mainstream conventions or whatever. And so that was kind of like, yeah, that is, well, this would count. And then, but then I went on to say, but sometimes people misuse this as like a catch-all for anything that's not, not in the mainstream. And it's more like, I don't know, people who are independent practitioners or people who are maybe like on the autism spectrum or something. I forget what the article from Wikipedia said. So I'm like, okay, she's got a point, sort of. But then I went back and I'm like, yeah, lady, I wrote back. I was like, yeah, I had a sense that this wouldn't fit into there squarely. That's why I put the scare quotes around outsider art. Anyway, I kind of felt like I didn't know if I should say that or not. I felt sort of petty, like kind of going back at her. But I was just like, I mean, this is why people don't want to talk on the internet. I mean, especially in the art. And that's why people don't like the arts world. It's because of these. It's like, who's sitting at home reading this article, scrolling through the comments, and it's like, I think somebody's off just a hair on this evaluation or the use of this term. Let me correct this stranger I've never met on the internet. That'll be a helpful, fun thing to do. I mean, who are these people? Anyway, so that's my take on don't at me, bro. What else do I got? Kate, my wife. You're gonna notice a feature of this podcast, which I'm picking up from or stealing from a podcast called Sunday Morning Coming Down by John King. I'm just going to segue. I'm not going to explain everything. I guess I should say I'm not going to segue. I'm just going to jump from point to point because I found that to be funny and cool. Anyway, Kate, my wife, she's white like me. And I don't know. So she's my age, roughly. She's a little bit older, and she's from LA. I don't know if this makes any difference. I texted her I think the kind of the A-OK symbol, that emoji where, you make the little circle and it's like the three fingers are up in the air. And I think I used the black one or a brown one, the skin tone. And she came back at me and said, "You can't use that." Because I'm white too. I didn't mention that. So this is this debate we're having. I told her I said something about today. And she said, "No, I still don't think you can use that." And I thought, I don't know. I'm going to talk if I ever talk to friends again, if they ever get done parenting for like a minute and a half, I'm going to ask one of them what they think, or my parents. My parents now, they're in their 70s, so they actually have more time to chat. I'm kind of like in the same crew. I just need to start getting it in on the early bird specials when I go back home, and I'll just pretend like I'm a retired person. But anyway, yeah, no, I find it hilarious that she thinks that I can't use the brown skin toned. I think they call it the shaka, that Hawaiian symbol that's like hang loose. That I always use the brown one because I think that's the authentic way of doing it. I mean, I don't even know if they have the other skin tones for that one, but she says I can't do it, and I don't know what to say to that. I hope I'm not being offensive. If I'm way off there, I hope somebody sets me straight, because I just I mean, honestly, it's not anything slightly racist. It's not like, oh, I think this is stupid, because I know sometimes there's it can be just a little hint of you're making fun of some other race if you even if you just sing a song a certain way or rap a certain way or whatever, even if the joke is, oh, well, I even think some of there used to be these sketches where Natalie Portman would rap on Saturday Night Live, and the whole joke was oh, little white girl is doing gangster rap, how funny, ha ha ha, she's so different. I'm kind of is she so different? You'll find out from me that I think essentially we're all the same in terms of our spirits. That's a little hard right turn into spirituality, but I do believe that obviously different people have different access and privileges and histories, and I believe that too. But I believe both things, that we're both radically different in many ways and totally the same at the same time. And anyway, so some of that stuff, I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to be like, haha, funny, ha, me white guy throwing out the shaka. I just think, or haha, me white guy throwing out the A-OK. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like, I just like throwing in the black ones and the brown ones. So that was that about, I was going to touch on that. Yeah. What emojis I'm not allowed to do. I was just going to say that I may have a component in this podcast where I give life advice that I need to hear. And then if anyone else needs to hear it, they can hear it too. I think that's the best way. I know people I have opinions on things. You're going to find out. Hopeful opinions. And I think that it can be helpful to people to hear it. I know it was helpful to me, and this stuff, a lot of it didn't come straight from me. But at the same time, it's sort of like, everyone's different. I often find I tell people my stuff. I haven't had anybody ever come to me and been like, oh, that book you recommended changed my life. It's never happened. So I sort of wonder why I say it. But, whatever. I'll get to hear it again. So the last thing I think I'm going to talk about today is Kate's water bottle spoil. That's what the note says. So I'm stuck here in self-quarantine. My eyes continue to be pink eyes, and I cough a bit, and I'm stuffed up a bit. So I've been in all weekend, like I mentioned. We were invited to a bar mitzvah out in Long Island, which eat your heart out, America. Anyway, no, I was actually kind of looking forward to it because it would have been the first bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah that I've ever been to. My wife is Jewish, so she went through the whole thing. She didn't have a bat mitzvah herself, but of course many of her friends did when she was a kid because she's Jewish and she grew up in West LA, and they just weren't very religious in her family. That's why she didn't have them, but she's been to a bunch, and I think relatives and whatnot. But I'd never been. I just heard the stories and seen the funny pictures and all that stuff, and so I kind of wanted to go. And but I was home. So anyway, she went, and she was kind of rushing because she didn't want to stay out there. It's a good hour and a half, I think, from our place in Brooklyn. It was kind of a indirect route that she had to take because she was taking the train. We do not own a car. Like real, true blue New Yorkers, we're also minimalists and cheap. And so she took the train. She kind of was sort of racing to get out of there a little bit to get home at a reasonable hour. And she's walking out the door, and she sees a table full of gift bags, and she thinks, great. So she grabs one on her way out. I don't know at what point, if it was on the train or when she gets home, she notices she turned the bag over, kind of because away from the side that was facing her as she was leaving, and she realizes that it says Colton on it. So Kate grabbed some poor kid named Colton's gift bag, and I don't know if there were 13-year-old tears flowing last night, but she's got it. And inside the gift bag is a water bottle that says the kid's bar mitzvah, the kid who had the bar mitzvah, his name was Leo, and they had themed tables. They had a Harry Potter table with a picture of Harry Potter, and they had I don't know if it was a Star Wars, like a Darth Vader table or whatever, stuff that Leo likes. And so the water bottle said Leo's bar mitzvah, or it said something like 21, 22, into the Leoverse. That was the phrase. So she now has a water bottle that I think she's intending on using, or thinks that I will use at my hockey games, that says 21, 22 into the Leoverse. yeah, we are proud owners of that water bottle. I think I'll wrap it up with that. You guys have a great day, a great week. Take it easy. Everything's going to be fine, and enjoy yourselves.